We continue another incredible Mishnah in Perek Avos with this Hachzek program. The second Mishnah in the third Perek begins the Mishnah Rav Chanina Skana Kohanim. Rav Chanina, who was the deputy Kohen Gadol. He wasn't the Kohen Gadol himself. He was, we'll call him, it's sort of the assistant, translated as the deputy Kohen Gadol. He says, having mispalel b'shleim shel malchus, you should daven for the welfare of the kingdom. Shel malei morashi kashelav. Because it's not for the fear that the kingdom instills, Ish Ezre'u Chayim below, man would swallow up his friend alive. What does that mean? Says Rabbi Yoina. What this means is, person should daven for the welfare of the entire world, and should feel the pain of others. This is the way of the righteous. As David HaMelech has taught us, says David HaMelech that when he was b'chayla, that when he was sick, he dressed in sackcloth. Inisi b'sayim nafshi, I afflicted myself with tzayim, with fasting. Because the person should not daven only for himself. When you're davening, says David HaMelech, explains Rabbi Yoina, don't just daven for yourself. Daven for everyone. They should be b'shalom, and when there's peace in the kingdom, there's peace in the world. And continues the Mishnah, that was Rav Chanina Skana Kohanim. And continues the Mishnah, Rav Hanani ben Tradion of the Asarim Erugi Malchus fame says, two people sit together and there's no words of Torah between them. This is a gathering of makers. And should not sit in the gathering of makers. Says Rabbi Yoina, there's two inyanim, two things, two types of mockery. Number one, l'shayn hara. What does that mean? So it speaks ill of his friend, embarrass him, and to disgrace him, degrading him in their eyes. And this is of the terrible sins that people sin. And it only common amongst the wicked people that what? They speak lashon hara, embarrassing people, disgracing them. Amar Zayd Yahir, the willful, boastful man, late Shemai, his name is late, his name is a makar. Oiseh be'evros is other, his actions are willful sins. What does this mean? These two traits are Zadain and Yahir, two different types of traits, which are what? Willfulness and boastfulness. Yahir, from the word of Gaiva. These are two things that are part of the makar. Zayd, what does it mean? That he does things willfully, for the word Mezid. He speaks bad about his friend and he embarrasses him in front of people. There's no worse purposeful avera than that. He wants the whole world to hate him, and he doesn't suffice that he himself hates him. The Yahir, and what does it mean? He's a Yahir. What does it mean? He's a Balgaiva, that's in thought. He thinks that no one in front of him is like anything. He talks about other people in a degrading manner. And he's crowned with these two things, late Shemai. This is what a late, this is what mockery, this is what it means. Maybe you're going to say, perhaps you're going to say, it's not so bad. True, he doesn't watch his tongue, but at least his hands, at least his actions, he controls that which he actually does. For this says his actions, no, not just his tongue, his actual actions are willful. This is a person who's a late. Because we know what happens if he talks that way. Then when eventually it comes to action, because he does it with cruelty and anger. Because leitzanis shows that he is a wicked person at its core. Shlomo HaMelech would comfort those who would hear this terrible diatribe of the lates, of the makar, and they would just sit there quietly, and they would suffer the horrible abuse. If one is drawn to the makars, But for the humble, he'll find favor. Ratzalaymar. Hashem will make a mockery of the others. And they're going to lose a lot more than those that hear it. Novim and the humble. Those who are quiet and they tolerate and they don't answer. Hashem is going to give them grace. Aval Kosav Shamar. Pazar that says Moshe lo Yashav, don't sit with the makers. Lo Darvin late Sadim Shamar. This is not referring to late Sadim that we're talking about. Because it's already included in the Rishayim, in the evil people and the sinners. What is that part of the pasuk mean? You should not sit with the makers. You have to flip it around from the pasuk. Rather, you should say with those who desire the Torah. This is a different type of makar. This is the makar that sits and talks emptiness, words of nothingness from Divrei Torah. They remove the yoke of heaven from themselves. Time they don't have any work. And they have a set place to talk all their stupidity. The second part of the pasuk is about Bittul Torah. Perek, and we'll pick it up and we'll finish the Mishnah on the next year.